days after Akbar was lynched, the Rajasthan government's first admission came from Home Minister Gulab Chand Kataria, who confirmed that Akbar died in police custody.
जो एविडेंस हमने इकट्ठी की है उससे लगता है कि उसकी डेथ कस्टोडियल डेथ के रूप में हुई है.
Akbar's post-mortem states that he suffered multiple injuries and 6 broken ribs and died of shock. Yet, the state minister didn't bother meeting the victim's family. Even as the criminal lapses by the Alwar police lie exposed, Netas had a different agenda. Leaders from the RSS and BJP spoke of Hindu sentiments regarding cow killings in the same breath as these lynchings.
उसका गोश्त नहीं खाया जाएगा, उसका दूध पिया जाएगा, तो यह जो भारत में और विश्व में शैतान का अपराध बढ़ रहा है, ये सब रोका जा सकता है.
इंद्रेश जी एक परिपक्व व्यक्ति हैं. उन्होंने जो कुछ कहा है सोच समझ के कहा है.
पर मैं मुस्लिम समाज, मेरे समाज के लोगों से भी एक निवेदन करना चाहता हूँ कि रोजाना जो रिएक्शन होता है वो भी इस गाय के गोरख धंधे को बंद करें, हिंदुओं की भावनाओं को समझें.
So on Mirror Now, we ask, why are Netas justifying hate crimes? Debate begins now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, this isn't about lynching anymore. I have 2 main points to make to you tonight. Number 1, this is cold-blooded murder, pre-planned with the involvement of local police. Akbar Khan died after being handed over to the police. When he was handed over to the police, he was alive. Akbar Khan died before the police brought him to the hospital. And for 3 hours in between, the policemen went up and down in their cars, as you can see from the various CCTV visuals that have emerged now of various points of time that night. They were busy taking a tea break. They were busy handing over the cows to the shelter. And then they found time to take Akbar Khan to the police, to the hospital. Eyewitnesses tell us that cops beat up Akbar Khan too. And I will bring you these testimonies over the next 45 minutes. But here is the more scary and concerning part. And viewers, it is absolutely essential you understand what I'm going to tell you now. This is the point number 2. There is a concerted effort by political leaders to use this opportunity to legitimize violence in the name of cow protection. 10 months ahead of general elections, there is an attempt to create an atmosphere of fear and to incite religious sentiments. And I will also bring you the examples of that. Some of them are on your screens right now as I speak. So tonight we ask, will lynchings become the norm in the country where the accused often gets the support and a subsequent clean chit and the victims get nothing except death in a few cases? Is this the only way our Netas know how to fight an election? Let's say good evening to our guests. Kavita Srivastava, National General Secretary for People's Union for Civil Liberties. Aarti Jairath, Senior Journalist. Dhanraj Vanjari, former ACP of Mumbai. Adil Singh Boparai, Spokesperson for the Congress Party. Dr. Geeta Bhatt, an academician. And also very soon we'll have Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP. But I actually want to go across to Aarti Jairath and ask her, what did you make of the comments, Aarti, that were made by not just the RSS leader? I don't even want to talk about the RSS leader right now because he's not an elected representative or a political party per se. But what about all of those other MLAs and ministers and the word of caution they had to give us about cow smuggling and beef eating?
No, Tanvi, there is this very disturbing thing that's been happening in this country over the last few years. And this is something we have never seen before. It's not that lynchings have not happened. Of course, lynchings have happened. But this is the first time that we are seeing a specific community being targeted, or communities being targeted, basically Muslims and Dalits, being in the name of the cow, and religion being brought in to justify the kind of violence that is unleashed on these people, because you say that you are gau rakshaks, you are cow protectors. Now, this is something we have never ever seen before in this country. And so that is why when BJP leaders or, any other political party tries to say, but what about 1984? But what about this and what? Yes, 1984 did happen. But 1984 was one incident, one aberration, I would say, a horrible aberration. What we are seeing now is something that is happening regularly across BJP-ruled states. And the worst thing is that the authorities are in collusion. The police are in collusion with these vigilantes, and the state government turns a blind eye, or MLAs and MPs turn around and justify what has happened. This is something really disturbing, because cows have been part of India's traditional rural economy for centuries. And people transport cows not just for slaughter, they transport them because they bought them, they need them for milk, they need them for all kinds of things. And so what? Are we going to stop transporting cows? Are we going to stop using cows in the rural economy? Are we going to, totally turn our traditional rural economy on its head because some self-appointed guardians have decided that they're going to stop all this business and target these communities that use cattle for business? I mean, this is something which is really horrifying. And I cannot understand why it is being legitimized and why there is this deafening silence from the top authorities of this government, from the Prime Minister downwards. Not a single word has been said in condemnation, except I think once the Prime Minister talked about Gaurakshaks being bad characters.
Yes, twice
but that
he
was
did.
About it.
Twice he did. The last one over a year ago, and clearly condemnation or a word of caution from the Prime Minister isn't doing the trick. But the problem is, who beyond him in the top leadership? You have the Home Minister today standing in the Parliament and telling us, wait, lynchings have been happening in this country since 1984. The fact that you want to condemn something and then immediately after that follow it up with a but and an excuse that comes. I don't get this. Geeta Bhatt, I don't get this. Why can't today in our country, Adil, I see your hand, I will come to you in just a bit. Why can't in our country today all of us just stand up and say no to mob violence of any kind without giving any kind of backup clause to that? To Geeta Bhatt, that question.
I haven't been able to hear your question.
My question is very simple, Geeta Bhatt. I have examples. Yes, I have examples of politicians, elected representatives who say, for example, Giriraj Singh says, this is a question of law and order. Of course, it is a question of law and order. But then he goes on to back the comment by Indresh Kumar by saying, if he has given a statement, he must have given it a proper thought and must be based on some fact. The fact is that the statement said that as long as cows are being killed in this country, these incidents will continue. I have Jaswant Yadav, Labour Minister of Rajasthan, who's gone on to say that as long as sentiments of Hindu community are hurt, that Muslim community must put a stop on cow slaughtering because it hurts the sentiments of Hindus. I have Raja Singh, BJP MLA, who says, won't stop till cow is declared Rashtra Mata. Mob killings won't stop till cow is declared Rashtra Mata. Why do some leaders in our country feel the need to bring in their love for cow and connect it to the violence that is taking place? Aren't they justifying it? Aren't they giving this a reason and a platform?
See, as far as a ban on cow slaughter is there, it is not, it has not come today. It has been there for a very long time, and I think, if I'm not wrong, in 21 states, cow slaughter is illegal, as well as even in the directive principles in our constitution, this provision is there of considering cow slaughter as illegal. Now, considering this, whatever has been happening as far as lynching is concerned, I think it is very unfortunate that, for any society, that that when people or a group of people or a mob, they try to take law and order in their hands. But what is also as much unfortunate is that when the political leaderships and political parties, they try to cash on and flare up the situation and do what is being called as vulture politics. So while there are many examples now, as today there has been a very recent
So you agree that Indresh Kumar, Giriraj Singh, Jaswant Yadav, Raja Singh have all, Vinay Katyar have all done vulture politics? Do you agree?
What
See, the vulture politics is being done by many political parties. Why are you not talking about the other political parties who are doing it? For example, I just want to bring one issue. Today only in Barmer there has been a Dalit has been killed. And by the minority community, each one is condemnable. I am not saying whatever happened in Alwar, it is highly condemnable. It needs to be, whosoever has done needs to be punished. No one has a right to take law and order in their hands. That stands true.
But so instead of pointing out this versus that, instead of pointing out this versus that, why aren't you questioning the Rajasthan government on both? Why aren't you questioning the Rajasthan government on both?
Let us not.
Whose fault is it? Is it my fault or is it the Rajasthan government's fault that these mob violence incidences are happening?
The lynching in Barmer,
is it my fault that in Barmer somebody has been lynched, or is it the Rajasthan government's fault? Is it my fault that in Ghaziabad an interfaith couple was attacked, or is it the Uttar Pradesh government's fault?
No one is.
Is it my fault that in Kerala a couple has been threatened, or is it the Kerala government's problem? I don't understand this excuse, this kind of an apologetic comments and responses you guys give.
Give me just at least 10 seconds to speak. You're not allowing me to speak. You're not allowing me to speak. You see, there are so many incidences. If just a couple of months back in Karnataka, a software engineer called Nandini, who very rightfully as a legal citizen went to the police to report that there is illegal cow slaughtering which is taking place. And it is illegal in Karnataka, and the government needs to do some cow protection about it, but it is failing to do so. Do you remember
you didn't say that for the Rajasthan government. Selective outrage is the problem.
By almost more than 300 men.
I don't understand why everything has to be made about religion. I do not understand why a crime has to be made about religion. Adil Singh Boparai.
You see.
Point taken, Geeta Bhatt. Adil Singh Boparai.
Well, Tanvi, let me set the record straight. Hinduism stands for tolerance, non-violence, unity and diversity, pluralism. Hinduism doesn't stand for violence. And let me for once and for all make it clear that the RSS is not the custodian of Hinduism. This is my preliminary point. Now, coming to the issue at hand, this is the hateful, brutal new India which Mr. Modi and Amit Shah have ushered in. Let's look at the facts. Post 2014, 97% of the violence, if you look at the data in the past 8 years, has taken place post 2014. Mr. Modi and his entire rank and file have legitimized this kind of violence. You have union ministers draping the bodies of lynching accused and murderer accused. You have instances of union ministers garlanding and felicitating convicts accused of lynching, accused of rioting. How does the BJP sit with this kind of narrative? On one hand, you talk about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and on the other hand, your MLAs, your ministers, your senior leaders are openly endorsing this violence. Of course, you're right, this is a law and order issue, but at the same time, the reason why there's been this recurring and alarming increase in this kind of violence is the culture of impunity, which is patronized and accorded by the BJP leadership. Facts are telling. Facts indicate that this is encouraged by the BJP. Now let's see what the Supreme Court says. The Supreme Court says that our democracy is degenerating into a mobocracy. If you look at the Alwar incident, Aslam, who was the companion of the individual Rakbar who's been killed, had said that the accused persons were openly shouting and proclaiming that the local MLA is with us. So this is the problem. When you embolden these elements, there is a culture of impunity where these extrajudicial mobs who've unleashed terror, let's call this terror. When you unleash violence and intimidation, there is no other word to describe it, they feel that they can get away. Look at the case of Pehlu Khan. You had the local Alwar MLA saying that Pehlu met his fate. When Mahesh Sharma pays homage to the Dadri accused, you are sending a message to your cadres that you continue with this polarization tactic and we will support you. You have the likes of a BJP MP by the name of Nishikant Dubey who volunteers to pay the legal fees of lynching accused.
We don't even have to go that back, Adil. We don't even have to go that back in time.
This madness is endorsed by the BJP.
One may want to hope and believe that, well, Dadri happened before the Prime Minister spoke, and the Prime Minister spoke twice about cow lynching and warned the Gau Rakshaks. Maybe things will change. But look at what Raja Singh, BJP MLA, says. Mob killings won't stop till cow is declared
If the Prime Minister was sincere, he should have sacked these people.
Till the time
you have to send a message.
Till the time
these are Indian citizens, Tanvi. I need to point out to the RSS spokesperson, these are Indian citizens.
But cow is more important, Adil. Come on now. Don't you know that? BJP MLA Raja Singh says, till the time a Ministry of Cow Protection is created in every state and stringent laws are enacted for cow protection, I feel such killings will not stop. This is my feeling and I am telling the fact. He's an elected representative who's on record saying, I don't think these killings will stop because you're unable to crack down on cow smuggling and cow protection. So let me, Adil, just 1 minute. I'm going to take this point across to Anila Singh and ask Anila Singh, how useless is the Rajasthan government and any other BJP state government today that not only are you unable to protect people from these so-called goons, cow vigilantes, Gau Rakshaks, whatever you want to label them, but you're not even able to crack down on cow smuggling or illegal cow trade. Now, what are you guys doing?
First of all the Bharatiya Janata Party ruled states are not useless. Neither this country is useless because Bharatiya Janata Party is ruling in center as well.
You're not ruling, you're governing.
So, spokesperson of Congress, just now he was, no. And we should try to understand, see, I'm not sitting here, I'm not advocating any person or any mob who take law in their hands. But I need to, let us see Congress bring a bill in Parliament saying that we should quash all the laws protecting cow in this country. Do that. Let us see Congress can do that or
what
not.
about protecting
cow
people?
Protection here.
What about protecting people?
Do not confuse the country.
What about the anti-lynching law?
No government ever encourages lynching.
Of the rule of law.
And this is the fact, the maximum seas, the maximum cattle seas on the Bangladesh and India happens to be now. Bengal is one state.
What are you talking?
Where
what are you talking,
smuggling
madam?
flourishes. It does business of millions.
How prevalent is it in Rajasthan? Ma'am, Anila Singh, how prevalent is it in Rajasthan? How prevalent is it? How prevalent is it in Madhya Pradesh? How prevalent is it in Jharkhand? How prevalent is it in Assam? How prevalent is it in every other BJP governed state?
The culture of us, if you do not,
why don't you talk about the states where you have been voted to power?
I very well say what Prime Minister of this country says, that
is
do
our
not
culture
take law in your
violence?
hand. But at the
is
same
our
time,
culture
if you say
unleashing
that
this
we
reign
should
of
not
terror?
respect cow,
Is our
then I do
culture
not
killing
agree
people,
with
madam?
you.
Okay, Anila Singh, can I ask you tonight? Can I ask you tonight what evidence do you have?
Who is saying that?
Can I ask you tonight what evidence do you have to suggest?
That we should not respect cow.
Okay, can we for a minute stop yelling, please?
I am saying that no one should take law in their hands. No mob lynching should
be there.
Right, of course.
You said it and the goons heard it because gundas work like that. Gundas work like that. Because spokesperson of the party come and say don't take law in your own hands and gundas work like that. Absolutely, of course. Anila Singh, I have a question for you. Do you have any evidence for me tonight, ma'am, that proves that Rakbar Khan was a cow smuggler?
very soon judicial report will come out. I am not here to comment on that.
And yet you sit
Until the
here
report
and
comes
talk
out,
to
I
me
think
about cow smuggling.
None of us should give judgment by sitting on this panel.
So why are you giving me the cow smuggling argument?
We are not a court here.
So why are you giving me the cow smuggling argument? Do you have any evidence that Akhlaq was indeed
But I know one thing.
slaughtering cows?
When
1 minute.
somebody
To my
stands
viewers
there and
this.
says,
To my viewers this, because this is a point I am going to again and again and again repeat every single day until people get this clearly. 1 minute. To my viewers, please. There is absolutely no evidence till date that has been given to us that Pehlu Khan was actually a cow smuggler. There is absolutely no evidence that has been given to us that Akhlaq was actually in the business of killing and eating cows. There is absolutely no evidence that has still been given to us about Rakbar Khan being a cow smuggler. Yet day in and day out, viewers, you see these BJP leaders come and give us lectures on cow smuggling and cow protection. I don't know how. If you genuinely have evidence of cow smuggling, why don't you go and crack down and stop that cow smuggling? How many times do you actually see instances of legal government action on cow smuggling? They will not do that. Because if they do that, their rhetorics go away. Then what are they going to scream and yell about to get your vote? Think about it, viewers. Kavita Srivastava, thank you for patiently waiting by. First to you and then to Dhanraj Vanjari. The other aspect that I wanted to talk about, Kavita Srivastava, I find this very, very interesting. This case is not about lynching anymore. This man has died after being handed over to the police. I refrain from calling it police custody because he wasn't really under arrest as an accused as far as we know. But we have 3 testimonies that tell us that they saw him being beaten by the police. And 3 hours later, he was dead. What does that say about the state's complicity?
See, the Home Minister of the state himself has said that because Rakbar was with us and he died while he was with the policemen, so it is definitionally, to correct you, it is a case of custodial death because you don't have to be an accused to be in the detention of the police. You don't have to have any warrant against you. That he was in their custody and he died. It is a case of custodial death. But what we have to talk about is that the police, in complete collusion with the extortionists, see, let's not call them Gaurakshaks. No way are they Gaurakshaks. They are not cow protectors. They are goons, they are gundas. These people in complete cohorts with police actually killed a man. Till now they've arrested 3 people. They've not arrested the main VHP guy, Naval Kishore, who is like the abettor. He was in his house, but he's like the mastermind. He has not been arrested. And secondly, what also really is problematic in this case is that the government now announces a 1.5 lakh compensation. What is this? You've killed a man who has children, who has a wife. You better give 25 lakhs. That is what we've demanded. You have to lodge an FIR against the police. Yes, 176, under section 176 of the CRPC, the magisterial inquiry is happening. The Rajgarh magistrate plans to do the investigation. However, you can still have FIR against the police. You can not just have an FIR, you can even arrest them. Let the magistrate keep doing his own inquiry. Why has the whole Thana not been suspended? According to the NHRC guidelines, the whole Thana is supposed to be suspended in the period of inquiry. And these 2 people need to be arrested. So the government and the Home Minister, while accepting that this was a custodial death, and it is in collusion with the people who beat him up, who call themselves the Gaugoons, and more arrests need to happen. They have to still address the fundamental issue of FIR, arrest and compensation. And finally, as another speaker on the panel said, that why Are we letting loose these people to kill Muslims in the state of Rajasthan? Because we are headed for elections. They want a polarization. It's very organized. It's very planned. And there's complete impunity. You can hear it. You can hear it from the statements that we will be protected by the MLAs, the MPs. That is what happens. That is what Jayant Sinha did. That is what all these Netas are doing. So this culture of impunity, this whole political climate of supporting this kind of violence, this kind of killing, till that doesn't stop. And the Prime Minister is in collusion. The Prime Minister, with his silence, is in absolute collusion with all these killers. He has to take responsibility for all these incidents and all the 40, 50 killings.
You know, until frankly, even if he comes out tomorrow and gives us another statement where he condemns and warns the so-called Gaurakshaks, it's not going to help. I think the Prime Minister needs to now come out and sack this Home Minister, sack this Chief Minister who have failed in maintaining law and order. Who have failed in maintaining law and order. Yes, Anila Singh. What are you saying? Anila Singh.
It's not about law and order.
Anila Singh, tell us what Kavita Srivastava is pointing out. Why haven't the policemen been booked?
Straightforward
She's
killing.
accusing Prime Minister of this country. Like when you are overexcited, it doesn't mean that you will lose control over your words. At least you should understand. At least you should understand whom you are accusing.
Rajiv Gandhi.
No, you are the people who love to bash Hindus. You are the people who love to criticize our culture.
Prime Minister
You are the people
who
selective favoritism. You are the people who have finished this country.
He's part of the collusion.
You are the people who doesn't know the identity of our
Madam, you should
culture
openly say that we stand with murderers, we stand with mobsters.
You sit on the panel and you love to
bash. This is what the BJP is.
Anila Singh, 1 minute. Adil, 1 minute. Kavita Srivastava, 1 minute, please. Let us give Anila Singh a chance to defend herself. Let's listen into her without any yelling on this panel.
What was the reaction of the Congress?
Anila Singh.
Thousands and lakhs of Sikhs died.
You really no need to yell. You're the only one talking on this panel. Go ahead.
Should I give you the history? What happened in 2013?
2018. Don't worry, I know my history. I know my country's history. You should check up your own party's history. Godse, Savarkar and the likes.
Party which has
speak about 2018.
Why don't you say anything about
and speak about the Hapur incident
where
you tried to pass off an incident to murder and road rage. That is your state where you hail from. And please don't justify violence. You're a spokesperson of a national political party. Do not justify violence. It will be a pity in 21st century India.
Okay, Dhanraj Manjari, good evening, sir. Thank you for patiently waiting by.
I don't have
1 minute. Can everybody just take a deep breath? Can everybody just take a deep breath? Not so much of yelling on this show, please. May I again remind everyone that you're on Urban Debate. Can we put the audio down of all our panelists, please? And can I just take this moment to remind everyone, Anila Singh, you've been on too many of our panels to now remember that we don't yell constantly over each other. Can we just listen to each other, please? And I'm just going to go across to Mr. Vanjari. Mr. Vanjari, do you agree with what Kavita Srivastava is saying? Right away, those policemen need to be booked and criminally prosecuted for cold-blooded murder.
Look, Tanvi, first of all, at the fourth set, I would like to request my all fellow panelists. You can have n number of reasons to derail the debate and take the issue to the dimension where it is not required to. Let us stick to the subject. I have some data and some facts to depose on this national channel. The victim has his 5th and 10th ribs fractured. His lungs were punctured. 7 total fractures in his body. 21 places on the body have bruises by blunt object. If such a victim injured, semi-unconscious, is in the protection of police, what was the job of police? To save the life of human as against the life of cow. And there the police failed. There are 2 concrete evidence for this. The ADG of SIT has said that in this matter there is sound lethargy on the part of police, And secondly, as it has been shouted on the channel, that Home Minister of concerned state says that this is a police custody death. Technically, this is not a custodial death as per my knowledge as police officer goes, but it is a death of the person who was under the accostation of the police.
Yes.
And therefore, if it is a death of custody and there the Home Minister saying it, Home Minister has no moral right to stay in his place. He should forthwith resign, taking a moral responsibility of all this happening. But what is happening? Everybody is talking this is a law and order problem. For God's sake, don't forget, no police machinery in the country is autonomous. It is always working under the Home Ministry and the Chief Minister's governance. Now, look at the statement of certain people, Vinay Katiyar, Giriraj Singh, Raja Singh and Indresh Kumar. Their very statements suggest that they are the merchant of hatred. What we are doing in this country, we are going fast accelerated speed towards regressive nationalism from a progressive democracy. We are not able to handle the pragmatism inculcated in the constitution by the framer of Indian constitution, but we are getting more and more agreeable to the religious dictum, making cow as a pretext, and under the pretext of the cow, we have started massacring of the human. The only reason that you want not only communal but a religious polarization to exist in this country, and it should be a matter of concern for all learned, educated, public intellectual in this country. And I think the most learned and educated thing it has been done in few days in this country is by the Honorable Supreme Court. He said there is a concrete need to have a very stringent law against lynching, and unless we do that, we won't be able to protect the youth of this country, forthcoming generation of Indian society. This debate, which party done what and what happened in 94 and what happened in 2013 and what happened in 84 and someone's statement as against the party spirit is totally uncalled for. I with folded hand request everybody, is totally uncalled for. What is the need of the time? You try to understand the pearls. We are playing with the sentimental psychology of the youth of this country,
Vanjari,
creating this country a rugs, which was not a history.
Mr. Vanjari, I am trying to understand why is it that these policemen haven't been booked yet or seen any kind of action against them apart from one suspension and them being sent to the lines. Whatever does that mean?
They have been suspended, that means that they are not on the duty. Perhaps there is a hindrance. In our administration, what happens for countering one thing, we create another thing. There is a SIT which has been heading by ADG. Now, apart from that SIT, we have instituted a judicial inquiry under the retired judge of the Rajasthan. Now what happened? They are just passing the bugs. Somebody is saying that let there be report from judicial inquiry,
yes,
which
Mr.
as
Vanjari,
per the norms
Mr.
of
Vanjari,
investigation.
just,
Let me come, Tanvi,
yes, 1 minute. I think Kavita Srivastava disagrees with what you're saying right now. Let me just get some correction
no,
if there is.
Let me complete and then I will invite the disagreement.
Okay.
Let me complete and then I will invite the disagreement. This is just passing the bucks as per the norms of investigation specified under section 154 to 173 CRPC. Those police persons, instead of putting them under suspension or dismissing, should have been booked in the case because they are equally responsible for the death of the victim.
Okay, so why hasn't that happened, Anila Singh? Why haven't you booked these cops yet?
Tanvi, they are suspended and I'm no one to comment on it because judicial inquiry is on. But definitely, as the Home Minister of Rajasthan has said that perhaps it is a custodial death.
So if the Home Minister is admitting it's a custodial death, what is stopping the Home Minister from filing an FIR against these cops?
Tanvi, he has said perhaps it is a custodial death. So let the judicial inquiry report come out, and then the right action will be taken.
I can also point out to you that the police officer yesterday who briefed the media, the special DG himself told us that yes, Rakbar Khan died after being handed over to the police. There was an error in judgment. Police decided to first go and drop the cows and then take him to the hospital, and he died. I don't think there is any grey area about this, but of course if there is no intention to act against the policeman, then that's what you'll do, give us a sham of a suspension. Adil wanted to make a point. Go ahead, please.
No, the action has been taken against the policeman, but with the proper inquiry, I think strictest of action will be taken by the legal system of our country.
We know about your inquiries.
Yes, Adil.
We know about your farcical inquiries. Can I make my point, please?
Shouldn't we do
You
that?
know, Tanvi, this is going to be yet
Is it
another
a
cover-up
banana
operation
republic?
under the BJP. The fact of the matter is, these elements, Madam, please listen to, please hear me out. You have messed up the country, please hear me out. The problem today is that these elements, these mobsters, enjoy BJP patronage. That's the long and short of the story. The police is influenced, the state leadership, the BJP leadership doesn't allow them to act. This individual, Rakbar's life could have been saved. Let me point out, Tanvi, because the police was intimated at 12:41 a.m. They reached the spot at 1 a.m. and they took him to the hospital at 4 a.m. Had they taken him, had they shown promptitude, had they shown sincerity and alacrity, this boy's life could have been saved. Does Anila Singh ji have the courage to look at the mother in the eye, look at the mother of Rakbar? These people are responsible for unleashing this madness in this country. They're killing human beings on religious lines. And let me go further. When you allow these unruly mobs to become law unto themselves, you are pushing this country into anarchy. You are creating a monster which is going to consume all of us. They're consuming them today, they will consume everybody else tomorrow. They will spare nobody. They will not spare anybody.
I think Tanvi has
this
said
is
enough.
the madness which
Adil,
you unleash.
point made.
This is the reign of terror which you
Point made. I need to go across to Aarti Jairat, please. Aarti Jairat, my apologies. I know.
Do not justify and legitimize violence.
1 minute. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Yes, Aarti Jairat, we lost your audio in between, so I couldn't come to you. I know you wanted to make a point. Go ahead now, please.
I know. Yeah, I just want to say one thing, that look, you know, it's very easy to dismiss this as a custodial death and pass the whole thing onto the police, that the police are brutal and police are responsible for this, and this is what has been happening. The police do this all the time. I think what really needs to be done is to investigate what gave the police, what motivated the police to beat up this man, keep him and not take him to hospital immediately. There is clearly a nexus between the local police and certain cow vigilantes who have political protection. That is a nexus that the inquiry needs to reveal. You just don't, you can dismiss the ASI, but another ASI will come in his place who will also be drawn into that nexus and will repeat the same mistake. So what we really need to do is to establish this nexus between the police, between the vigilantes, and between these politicians who protect them. That's what we need to find out. Who are these politicians? If this man was saying that I have the local MLA's protection, then what was he saying?
Yes.
Who is this MLA? Who is protecting him? The very fact that a union minister can garland people who were convicted for lynching means that there is political protection for these guys, these lynchers, these mobsters, these goons. So let's not just dismiss this as a custodial death.
In fact, let me add to that.
Much more than a custodial death.
Yes, it is. And let me add to that, because so in this case what we are seeing is the possibility of this man being beaten up by the police after he was handed over by the goons to the police and then dying before he's taken to the hospital. Now since we bring up the Jayant Sinha case where he went and garlanded the accused who were convicted by the lower court and the case is now in the higher court, he went and garlanded them. I was reading his response and justification where he says, Mr. Vanjari, that he believes that there is evidence there, pictorial evidence that suggests that when that victim, when Ansari was handed over to the police, he had minor injuries and he was very much alive and then he died, which is why he thinks those people who are accused did not lynch him to death and that something else went wrong. Are we then looking at a larger conspiracy here where the gundas come and do the basic job, then these victims are handed over to the police who then finish this job? That is my question. Kavita Srivastava wants to come in.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's what we need to find out.
See, I fully agree with you.
Right, you are.
The so-called, see, I don't want to call them cow protectors.
No,
they are
I don't want to.
extortionists, they are killers, and they want to basically do a job because they have absolute impunity, and the police is in collusion. That is what we are trying to say, that in any case, no crime can happen. No private actor crime can happen without collusion with the police. In this case, the scale and the connections go really high. So I think that I want to correct Aarti also, that by calling it a custodial death, nobody is reducing the nature of crime, the kind of heinous crime that has happened. But definitely, if somebody is left at the police station, 2 cows are gone to drop, then they come back, and then he's taken to the CHC, obviously the person, the police has beaten him up also. So how can the police, who is part of the whole welfare state, how can the police also indulge in this? The police has to take responsibility for my right to life. The police has to protect my right to life. Whether it's due diligence, it's absolute due diligence, whether it's there or whether it's not there. That is why Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, out of due diligence, has to create a climate where I can live, where my right to life is guaranteed. There is Article 21. My right to life is guaranteed by the state. So nobody is belittling.
Yes.
We have to understand that in Rajasthan, the collusion is absolute. And this is a classic case where Akbar loses his life with both parties beating up. And because there was Aslam, because there were these photographs, that we can, link these things. Otherwise, we would have only got a body. So,
yes,
I'm
absolutely
glad that now we should force the government to arrest. We have to build a campaign that they arrest. They have to arrest these policemen.
Right. I'm just going to quickly go across to Dr. Geeta Bhatt and ask her that.
By magistrate. I just want to correct it. See, there is a magisterial inquiry
let me come
under
in for a minute.
176 by the Rajgarh magistrate.
Yes.
Yes, it's the judicial side of inquiry, but no retired judge is sitting. Let's get that straight. Those are part of the CRPC rules which are being implemented.
All right. Thank you, Kavita. Yes, Mr. Vanjari, you wanted to say something, and then I have a question for Dr. Bhatt.
Yeah. That is what I am saying. The proper process of investigation should be followed. That's why I said right from the section of lodging FIR 154 up to 173 CRPC, all these provisions and powers are there to the police. As it has been said very rightly by you, Tanvi, it's a matter of a very big conspiracy. We have to unearth this conspiracy. And for unearthing the conspiracy, you have to take all data of their mobile, the concerned policeman, what makes them to act as per the versions of the maybe ministry, maybe home ministry, or maybe some local leader. That data will be there. But unless we take them in custody, we won't be able to complete an impartial investigation. That is why investigation has a prime duty to arrest them and then progress with the investigation and reach up to that level. Now SIT is there, or let there be judicial inquiry, but we have to reach up to the level from where the entire water was flowing under the bridge, and we must be able to grill even the higher people if they are sitting even in the home ministry or governance. We have to take it. There will be a lesson. There will be a lesson.
I don't expect that.
Exemplary investigation.
I'm sorry if I sound a little pessimistic, but I think I'm being realistic. I don't expect that, and I will tell our viewers why. There have been 3 incidences of mob violence and lynchings in the 1 year and 3 months, in the last 1 year and 3 months in just Alwar. To begin with, Pehlu Khan case. What has happened in that case? Police found and arrested some people, filed a charge sheet, and then said, oh wait, we got the wrong people. These aren't the guys. Gave them a clean chit. Today there are no accused. We don't know who killed Pehlu Khan. We don't know. The case is gone.
No,
People have moved on, and that's where things stand.
Please, you've got that wrong.
That is why I am saying, Tanvi. That is why I am saying in a bigger conspiracy, and it should be investigated in that
but there
manner.
is no justice that is being done.
Of this country,
now the same police is expected to find us and act against the killers of Rakbar Khan or the case before that. I don't think so, because this is how it functions now. You make a false case, you give a clean sheet to those accused, you reward the attackers, you victimize the family of the person who's already been lynched, you harass them, you take action against them. That has become the trend. Geeta Bhatt wanted to come in. Yes.
I will share a classic example.
1 minute,
Yes,
Mr. Vajari, I'll come back to you.
And if you see, Tanvi,
Thank you.
Tanvi, as you see,
can I come in?
You know, this nexus between the police and people who are politically influential. Why did Jayant Sinha go and garland those guys who were convicted? Because those guys helped him to get votes.
Yes.
That's the problem. These goons are the guys who go out and get votes for the local politician, whether he's an MLA or he's an MP.
Yes.
They intimidate people into voting for them.
And
that is why they have the protection of the politician, and that is why they can influence the police and get the police to do something as horrific as what happened to Rakbar Khan. That is that, you know, Rakbar Khan was beaten up by these guys, and then the police finished the job for them.
Right. Okay, Dr. Geeta Bhatt, please.
They help these MLAs get votes. They help these
I
MPs
completely
get
agree
votes.
with you, and that's the unfortunate
next-
part.
Yeah,
that
I want to
gets
make
votes.
2-3 quick
completely
points. I will not
agree
take
with
much,
you, Tanvi.
much time, but
Yes,
I have
Dr.
been very patiently waiting. So I hope, Tanvi, you will let me speak. First of all, I do agree that there is a lot of smuggling of cow meat which takes place, and this is a known fact in Rajasthan as well in Haryana. These two states, it has been happening for a long time. And if you look at the data, in the last 3 months itself in Rajasthan, there have been more than 1,000 cases which have been registered of cow smuggling. So this is an issue, and this killing which has happened, this is, this needs to be addressed, and the perpetrators, they need to be punished. There is no doubt about it. But there are few statements which have come in the debate in the last 20 minutes, which I have been hearing very patiently. So I would like to just bring in 2-3 counters here. First point is that, when Akhlaq's case happened, and all the blame we know that it is, the law and order is a state subject, and Samajwadi Party was ruling in Uttar Pradesh at that time. But, there was, a particular nexus of academicians and social workers and all who were pointing their fingers towards the Prime Minister at that time. And when in 2013 Muzaffarnagar riots had taken place, when Mr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, no one ever thought of pointing a finger towards him. And the central government at that time did not ask for any report from the Samajwadi government in Uttar Pradesh.
What's the connection right now?
And also I would like to
my only question was, has there been justice done in the Akhlaq case?
Derailment of debate.
Has there been justice done in Akhlaq case?
Why is no one talking? There is another thing which has taken place in now. This is what happens. This is what happens. You do not let the person speak and put up the point. Why are you not giving me the time to speak?
I'm trying to understand. I'm asking you. I'm trying to understand what is the relation here.
No, it is important.
Is the Congress Party in power right now?
A false narrative is being created.
What false narrative? Who's in charge of Uttar Pradesh? Who's in charge of Rajasthan? Who's in charge of Delhi right now? What are you talking about?
Dalit has been murdered by the minority communities, but no one wants to discuss that.
Question your elected representatives.
This is happening on the ground. People are being killed.
It is not a question of one against another. In Assam, there was lynching of 2 young boys which took place.
And Assam is also governed by a BJP party. Frankly, I don't understand why you're still defending BJP ruled states, Geeta Bhatt, because if you sit and look at it, BJP has failed to protect majority and minority according to you in every state. No point in going on yelling here, please. I need to start wrapping this up. 30 seconds to Adil. 30 seconds to Adil, please.
You are so biased, Tanvi. You are so biased.
Tanvi, I think the
Madam,
please let me make my point.
And they were the people who used to live in villages.
We will talk about it.
Please
have the patience.
Hindu boys. They were lynched. You will not talk about them.
Can I?
Because you love to bash
My
Hindus.
God, I can't believe
all
that
right,
this is the answer and rhetoric we
Madam,
get to
please,
everything.
here.
Yes,
It's as if
accurate.
I am sitting here and governing
down
this
the
country or any other
It's really
state.
horrible.
I don't
It's
get
really
it. Why
horrible.
don't you
I
go
think
and question your own elected representatives of how they
You
have
will not discuss about
failed to
it.
maintain law and order in this country? I am completely out of time. So I'm going to wrap up this debate. But here is what something all our panelists need to listen to and to my viewers. If this really is the current situation, then I don't know where we are going from here. Today, an interfaith couple was targeted in Ghaziabad. On Saturday, a man was killed for falling in love with a girl of another religion in Barmer, Rajasthan. Last week, another interfaith couple was threatened in Trivandrum. 3 mob violence incidents in Rajasthan just this week related to cow, another one in Jammu, another hate crime, mob violence in Karnataka. Endless examples, viewers. Mobs and fringe groups are getting a free hand in this country. Bigotry, hate, religion, selective outrage, hypocrisy, secular bucks. These are the words that have become the agenda that everybody wants to throw in our faces. And on and on and on they go. You decide, viewers, do you want this to be the agenda from now on until you choose your next government? Why is nobody talking about development anymore? Why is everybody busy fanning the communal fire in every part of our country? How come suddenly we are talking again about cow smuggling and cow protection and cow rakshaks? How come suddenly we are talking again about love jihad and interfaith marriages? How come every single time this mob gets away, but the victim and his family gets harassed? Because our Netas believe this is what will get them the votes. And it's irrespective of the political party. Is this the India we want in 2019? Is this the agenda we want the elections to be fought on? Sit back and think about that, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.